if you look, you'll see that JFK or Nixon just wanted the tanks for basically he wanted to steal cargo. He wanted to, and if you look at it, I saw what he was doing. Basically, I did have some knowledge of what he was doing before he did it. I could see the signs of everything, and he wanted the tanks so he could go raid the gold, so he could go kill people. Like I said, a long time ago, my German soldiers did everything. You know, we went to go get cows that had been stolen and taken off into the woods, and it was and they expected 3 tanks to go there because they only wanted 3 tanks, and I sent 15. So the ambush was foiled, and they were able to get the guys or kill the guys and put one guy in jail. But basically, Germany was really good, and basically it goes Renault. I built the Renault plant, and then I built the paint plant. There's a next door. There's a Renault plant, car plant, and the citrus company or cider or whatever country company, which was a front wheel drive car, which is where I got front wheel drive cars from. Um, that was another plant. That was also mine, actually. I believe. I also that's where I built the small people's cars and stuff like that for little people if they wanted, and stuff for children. We built a small person's car. That's why they're white and stuff. And you see a lot of what's called similarities. But anyway, we also built a paint plant, which he could have paid me back some of the money. I was like, no, let's just go ahead and invest that 30 grand, and you'll work for me, and I'll pay you whatever. Because we were doing really good or something. I said things are going to come around because the stock market crashed or there was some problem or something like that. And he was like, well, I can pay you back, but I don't think there's going to be any more money. And I was like, well, why do you say that? And he said, well, there's no more or whatever or something like that. Anyway, I had some more metal shipped to him or something like that. Anyway, so he got more. They got more metal basically. Another 60 grand. I think he said that they'd run out of metal or something like that because they had to sell. They sold the cars for half cost or something like that. Which in order to get them to sell. But once we got them to sell, what I did was I just had another 60 whatever taken to the plant. So because I could always order more steel to be dropped off, so I just said go ahead and order 60 more whatever, and they did, and they got it, and so they said we got it, okay. So anyway, so I said so they started construction on the paint factory or the paint plant, which would paint the cars and everything like that, and that was down the street, so they could manufacture their own paint and everything, and basically like a one-stop shop, and there's also maybe even a smelting facility somewhere nearby or something where so it was a self-contained one place, basically did everything or something like that. The Renault foundry or factory was the most state-of-the-art manufacturing plant I had built up to that point. We did it all right, basically. 30,000 buys a lot back then. Like you could buy a country for 30 grand. So anyway, so we built the 2 more plants or whatever, and we built a couple car, and there's this, it was revolutionary and all that other stuff. The Renault plant was amazing. It was revolutionary. And and we built all those cars and everything. And then there was a lot of stuff that was happening around in there. Anyway, like I said, we had to go take back Paris because it had been overrun by some people. What was I going with this? Uh, anyway, my success with the Renault plant and everything. With the Renault plant was basically what Hitler was trying to ride up on, and they tried to like get it. So they tried to say that the government owned or could take over the plant or something like that or something like that. And I kind of was gonna go for it, but I was like, no, it's my plant. You can't, no. And they're like, war blah. I was like, no, for my dead body or something like that. I wouldn't give it up because it was too important. And besides, you could make tanks with that plant. So anyway, and then later on, they wanted more tanks, and I was like, no. I was like, you can have 30 because they couldn't even afford. I was like, where's the metal? Where's the gold? I mean, do they have anything? And they're like, no, they just want the tanks or whatever. And I was like, no, they can't have them. We'll fight over them then. Anyway, they sent some guys, and we repulsed the attack basically, and we killed some of their men or something like that. Anyway, it was a big old thing. We ended up having to kill quite a few people, and I had to spend quite a bit of money on mercenaries too. And in the end, but in the end, like I said, the Irish always backed me. They're like, they said, I forget what the Irish said exactly. I mean, you have to ask them, but basically, I had the Irish support. I had everyone's support because they're like, well, you basically just protect the peace, which is what I did. Fair is fair, and they wanted tanks, and we all knew what they were going to do with the tanks if they got them, and they also wanted the plant. Later on they wanted the plant. I was like, no, you can't have the plant because that plant manufactures armor-piercing rounds, and those are dangerous. And no, you can't have it. You won't get it. And so there was a fight over it, and like 15 of their top guys died over it. Basically, pretty much, I'm Lucifer Starr, the inventor of modern day warfare, pretty much. And I was protecting my people. I was protecting that town. That town had been raped at least once, or other towns had been raped, and it had been bad. And a lot of bad things had happened, and I had to repulse a lot of attacks. And I was like, no, we won't. We're not. I'm not. So I wouldn't do it. Anyway, I did a lot of stuff protecting the Jewish people, protecting this, protecting that. I'm basically a hero, pretty much. I'm a wartime hero. Most army officers would be like, forget that other guy. You only have one leader or whatever. Because I saved their lives. I was the one that would stand against the wave, and so everyone backed me basically. And pretty much it was there was a lot of scary times, and I lost some good people, of course. I forget exactly, but it's all history now. I'm the only one who one of the few that have actually been through so many battles and so many fights. And they're all on record too. There was always an investigation afterwards, and even when the investigation would be like, well, leave your part out then, because sometimes I would leave out because they're like, well, we had to kill them, and I was like, well, this is different. They were going to kill us, or they were going to attack us, so it's different this way. And besides, I'm the creator, so. Anyway, it was different because they were going to attack the plant. They were going to attack us. They're going to pick us off, and that was that. And we just stopped that from happening. So and it's majority rule basically too. I worked with the Irish. The Irish worked with the French. We were all together. I never pushed myself on anyone. I was like, we're here to help. We'll help if we can. So everyone was always like, yeah, we want help. And when those people would come up and try and do something, usually their next door neighbor would be like, you know what, here's a problem. That one guy is not going to get in everyone's way. Usually a lot of times it was like, there's no problem because I was always fair. I was always like, everyone always owed me, and it's always like, you need more metal, you need more money. Like I said, I put the Paris aqueduct system, or the water system, in. When we took the town back over, we put in a new water system. We did this. We built all those buildings. I was the guy who closed off the town. And then I let people back in, and slowly, and we also had a trained police force, and that was another thing. My trained police force, and we also had a backup secret police force, or unknown police force. That was like a neighborhood watch, just to make sure nothing went wrong if something did go wrong, because it was a big city, so not everyone could protect and everything. Paris was actually a really safe city, and I figured that out. I worked all that out. It's like, okay, these people over here, those people over there. Okay, we should all be good. Okay, and it was great for 34 years or something like that. Everything I always did always worked. There were a few skirmishes or this or that, but it always worked.